The world-famous Butch and Bob Show.
World-famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio. Bob, we've got a special guest on the phone with us this morning. Who do we have?
Well, it's election day, and it's not every day we get a Supreme Court judge on the Butch and Bob Show, but we got Supreme Court Judge Andrew Pinson on the phone with us. Judge, appreciate you calling in.
Absolutely. Glad to be here. Appreciate it.
Again, as we mentioned, it's election day. When they go to the polls, they'll see your name along with John Barrow's name for that seat. You're the incumbent, so tell us about the campaign, how it's going, and why people should vote for Andrew Pinson.
Absolutely. So I was appointed to the bench about 3 years ago by Governor Kemp, and then to the Supreme Court 2 years ago. So I've been on the bench for about 3 years. I love the job. Public service has been a calling for me, and it's just so rewarding to be able to do my part to help defend our Constitution and uphold the rule of law in Georgia. I think it's so important that we have a justice system in Georgia that people can trust will be fair and impartial, and that if they ever end up in court, whether it's a big case or a small one, that they're going to get a fair shake. And frankly, that's the message of my campaign, and that's why I'm running to keep doing this job. I have an opponent who, unfortunately, has made what is supposed to be a nonpartisan race very partisan and divisive, and has, said things about, deciding issues that could come before the court. I reject that way of thinking about our courts, and I think the people of Georgia will too. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to talk to you about it a little bit today, but I think that's the gist of it. I'm running because I want to keep our courts fair and impartial, and I believe in courts that have integrity and that remain independent from the kind of partisan politics that we see affect a lot of other things around the country and in our state.
And just joining us on the phone is Supreme Court Judge Andrew Pinson, running for re-election. I'm curious, how does one become a Supreme Court judge? Tell us a little bit about your background, your rise, and how do you become a Supreme Court judge in the state of Georgia?
Absolutely. So just a quick background. I born and raised in Georgia. I was born in Gwinnett County and then grew up in a small town, Lincolnton, Georgia, near Augusta. I spent 7 years in Athens. I'm a proud double dog. 2 years as a judicial clerk, first for Judge Santel on the D.C. Circuit, and then for Justice Thomas on the U.S. Supreme Court, and then came back down to Georgia. And then my legal career has been a mix of a few years in private practice and then almost 5 years in the Attorney General's office, where I served as Solicitor General for the state. I did a lot of important work with the governor and others, including the water wars litigation that Florida brought against Georgia, that I'm sure many folks are aware of. And so all of that kind of led me to the chance to get to the bench. In Georgia, judges are elected, and that includes the Supreme Court. But if someone steps down before the end of their term, the governor has an opportunity to appoint someone to that vacancy for a short term. And so that's what happened in my case. The governor appointed me to the Court of Appeals, and then another vacancy opened up on the Supreme Court, and I was appointed to that seat. And so that meant that I would run for nonpartisan election, which is coming up today, as y'all know.
How many judges on the court, and what kind of cases do you handle on a daily basis?
Sure. So there are 9 justices on the court. Like the U.S. Supreme Court, unlike the U.S. Supreme Court, we handle many, many more cases. Are probably about 5 times as many opinions issued as that court. And our cases run the gamut. We see criminal cases, civil cases, constitutional cases. We are the highest court in the state, and so all of the appeals that get to us, we are the last word in those cases. Actually, about 75 to 80% of our cases are criminal cases, and our direct appeals murder cases. So we have exclusive jurisdiction over appeals in murder cases. And then the rest of those cases are, like I said, either constitutional questions or other important questions that have come up from the lower courts.
it's a big state. We got a sheriff's race here. I talked to our sheriff candidates. They say, the incoming sheriff, he's working, and then it's hard to get out and campaign. I guess it's the same thing for justices on the court. How do you find
It
time?
is absolutely.
I mean, you got a full-time job, so how do you find time to cross the state and campaign?
That's absolutely right, and I'm glad you brought that up. That is perhaps the hardest part of campaigning as a Supreme Court justice. We are one of, if not the busiest state Supreme Courts in the country. Last week, the week before the election, we had 9 oral arguments that I attended and participated in all of, in addition to trying to juggle a full-time campaign and all sorts of things. I tell people it really is 2 full-time jobs for a justice who's running for election, and so that's obviously has been a challenge, but we've made it through to Election Day, so very happy about that.
But Judge Pinson, we had the governor on the world famous Butch and Bob show yesterday, Governor Kemp, and he highly endorses you, and I think that means to a lot of folks out there to be endorsed by the governor of the state of Georgia. And I know that you've got to appreciate his support as you're running for re-election on the Supreme Court there in the state of Georgia.
Absolutely. I'm proud to have the governor's support. I first got to know the governor and his team, like I said, when I was working in the Solicitor General's office, and then obviously he appointed me to the Court of Appeals and to the Supreme Court. Having his support now tells me that frankly, that I'm doing this job the right way, that I'm doing exactly what I told him when I interviewed for the position in the first place, that I'm applying the law as it's written, not as we think it should be or as we want it to be, because frankly, judges are not legislators. That's not our job. And then otherwise, that I'm approaching every case with an open mind and considering each issue fairly impartially, as our oath requires. And so I'm proud to have his support. I'm proud to have the support of several of our constitutional officers in Georgia, and really strong bipartisan support from across the state. I think it's a testament to it makes me feel good that I've done this the right way, that I've campaigned for this job in the right way, and that people trust in my ability to do the job going forward.
And just joining us on the phone with us is Supreme Court Justice Andrew Pinson. Again, we ask all the time, see people, like I said, it's election day, people are going to the polls, voting right now, so when they go in there and they see these 2 names on the ballot, why should they vote for the incumbent Andrew Pinson?
Yes, sir. Just to reiterate many of the things that I've said before, I am the candidate who has from day one on the bench defended the Constitution, upheld the rule of law, approached every case fairly and impartially. And I think importantly, particularly in this race, I have stuck to the people of Georgia's wishes that this is a nonpartisan position. It's a position that requires people to remain fair and impartial and not prejudge issues that can come before them. That's unlike my opponent, who has made this race about committing to decide issues in certain ways before he's ever been a judge or been on the court. And so I think that's a stark contrast, and I think that the people of Georgia can be confident that if they vote to keep me on the bench, that they're going to continue to have a justice system and a judiciary that is fair and impartial, and that's going to give everyone an equal shot when their case gets before us.
Well, sir, we sure do appreciate you calling in here on the World Famous Butch and Bob Show. Again, we wish you the best of luck. We'll follow the election tonight, have the results, and wish you the best of luck.
Absolutely. Everyone get out and vote.
Okay, take care. On the world famous Butch and Bob Show, Georgia Supreme Court Judge Andrew Pinson running for re-election, endorsed by the governor. And it's good for him to call in this morning. I was telling him before we went on the air, it's been a while since we've had somebody, a judge from the Georgia Supreme Court on here. I remember back before the radio station burnt down in whatever year that was, 2005, sometime in the early year 2000s, we had the Chief Justice of the Georgia State Supreme Court. He was doing something in this area and was lined up on the Butch and Bob Show, and he came into the old studio and sat down with us and talked about what the Georgia State Supreme Court actually does.
Got a lot of listeners up there in Atlanta, in the state capital. World famous.
World famous. All right, that's pretty good. Governor yesterday, Georgia State, Georgia Court Judge Andrew Pinson on today. That's like this is the Supreme Court of Georgia, just like the Supreme Court in Washington D.C. for the country. This is the Supreme Court for the state of Georgia. So all through the appeals, this is where it ends. If you get it all the way to the Supreme Court there in Atlanta, and that's Judge Andrew Pinson running for re-election today.
Right, 1 of 9 justices on that court.
Yep, 9 judges on the court. 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO. We continue on with the world famous Butch and Bob show here on this Tuesday morning. And you said there's going to be an event in Jesup today or tomorrow?
Today. March and protest. Like I said, the family of Noah Bush are looking for answers. Again, the Sheriff's Department says it's still under investigation. Family believes there's, the Sheriff's Department right now says there's no foul play involved, but the family wants answers on what actually did take place with their 8-year-old son that passed away in that bar pit. So, again, they've got a protest and a march planned today into City Hall at 6:30. I'm not sure what else taking place, but we'll be there at 6:30 to talk to family members and see what's on their mind.
6:30 today at Jesup City Hall.
All right.
Okay. And you can't blame them trying to get answers on why their son died.
And like I said, if anyone knows anything about this incident, again, there were several other boys that were with him that Wednesday when he went missing. They asked to call the Sheriff's Department at 912-427-5970. And again, if you wish to remain anonymous, you can call that number 912-427-5993. And ran into one of his aunts yesterday while doing some shopping, and she's not real happy, and she said that there's more to it than meets the eye. So, said, I told her it's under investigation. That's all we can do is report what the Sheriff's Department tells us and talk to the sheriff daily. Like I said, they've done some interviews and waiting on the autopsy report. That'll tell them stuff they need to know. So we'll just continue to follow it as it develops. But that event taking place today in front of City Hall at 6:30.
And sometimes it can take a while for an autopsy to come through. It's not something like television. You see, it takes a while.
Depends on how backed up that crime lab is.
Yeah, it takes a while for an autopsy to come down. So you do want the truth and justice to come out. So we'll see what happens with all this as time goes by, as the investigation continues.
It's just a sad story.
It is a very sad story. I mean, just breaks your heart. It absolutely just breaks your heart. And hopefully all the truth will be able to find out and see what went on with this. It's just a tragic situation. 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO. Well, Bob, Election Day.
Election Day. We'll have those results tomorrow for you here on the local news. Have some interviews. So I said polls stay up until 7 p.m. I said just reminded all those candidates for running for sheriff and district attorney on that Republican ballot. So you pick up a Democratic ballot, again, a reminder, you won't be able to vote in those 2 races. And those are 2 key races here in the county and the circuit. So I said yesterday, I can't comprehend it, but you said it's diehard party politics. But
yeah, it is. Some people if they're Republicans, they just no matter what, they can't vote Democrat, and same way with Democrats can't vote. There's a lot of them like that. They're just diehard party, and they don't care if all the candidates are on the other side. But then there's other ones who will do that to try to influence races too.
Do you not care who your sheriff is? You don't care who your DA is?
Do, but sometimes party politics.
You can't vote for them.
Come on, Bob, you grew up in this country. Sometimes the party's the most important thing to some of these people out there. The party.
They need to wake up and smell the coffee. Get on board. It's a sheriff's race. It's an important race. All 3 candidates are on one ballot. Why would you not pick up that ballot? I said it again. I'll say it again. I don't care if you're a diehard Democrat. You live in Wayne County. You can vote for the sheriff. They're all 3 on the Republican ballot. Give me the Republican ballot. I'm voting on the sheriff's race. I'm not voting. I'm not.
Then you start getting all these Republican mailers, and they're wanting you to donate. And now they say that you're a Republican.
You throw them in file 13. Just ditching in file 13. Come on. I don't know. I said, I don't comprehend
Now, sometimes people will cross over if it's to try to put a weaker opponent in to go against a stronger one. But that ain't happening this time because there's nobody running against them in November.
I said, I just don't comprehend it. It just blows my mind.
Well, Bob, we're not all the same.
I understand.
We're all different individuals, and we have all our different feelings and biases and thoughts and feelings and the things that we believe. And
If you
you
live,
just got to say that's it. That's their prerogative.
I understand it's their
Feel the way they
prerogative. I'm
want
just
to.
telling you, you live in a county. The sheriff's an important position. The DA is an important position, and you're not voting in it because you got a Democratic ballot.
And there's no one on the Democratic side.
There's
to
no.
vote.
That's what exactly. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. So
If
why
you
would
want to be
why
able to
why
pick
if you want to vote in the sheriff's race, you
Right.
think it's important, you
Or
pick
the
up
DA's race. If you
you
want
pick
to
up
get one, you pick up a Republican ballot.
ballot. Exactly.
Yeah.
So these people pick up the Democratic ballot, live in Wayne County, and go, "What are you thinking?" That's just my opinion.
They're voting their party. That's what they're doing.
There's nobody to vote for.
I know. There's no one there.
There is no Democratic sheriff candidate. There is none. There's no Democratic district attorney candidate. There is none. So why are you picking up that ballot?
Because
Why? Explain it to
it's
me.
the way it's always been.
Makes no sense.
You know,
It's mind-boggling to me. I'm like, what are you doing?
There's some people.
Those
out
will be
there
the same
that
people. They'll be in the
Democrat-
coffee shop. I can't believe those so won for that race. By God, they shouldn't have won. Who'd you vote for? I didn't vote. I voted Democrat. So why are you complaining? Everybody's going to complain.
Because it's just against
The American way.
everything and their being to
It's
not
like
to vote the other way.
It's just like Jeff Foxworthy. Here's your sign.
No, that's Bill Engvall.
Or whatever.
Bill Engvall. Here's your
Somebody, here's your sign. I don't. It's just whatever. It's too early in the morning. I need my coffee.
You need something. You need a chill pill there, boy.
I'm ready to go vote. I promise you I'm picking up a Republican ballot. I'm voting in the sheriff's race. I'm voting in the DA's race.
Yeah, we just all need to chip in and get some Bob some chill pills, man. He's he'd chill out.
Congrats to Appleton County coming back and win that second ball game.
Yeah, congratulations to the Pirates.
That's a nice venue. George Southern had a chance to go up there and watch that first game. But North Cobb Christian's first pitcher was awfully tough, but Appleton came back and shut them out in game 2. So game 3 today, I said, a lot of people from Appleton County, a lot of red up there.
It would be the same way. Well, when Wayne
Wayne
County
played-
was in
right.
Savannah and played
Yeah,
for the
same
state
thing.
championship
Right.
back in, what was it, 2017?
Right.
Somewhere along there.
But wish the Pirates the best of luck today. Hope they can pull it off. And as we said all year long, no one's beaten Stars Mill in Quad A baseball. So they rolled yesterday 11-1 and 2-1 over Cherokee Bluff. So Stars Mill wins the Quad A baseball title. And unfortunately, a bad day on the golf course for our
Yeah,
boys
what
golf
happened
team.
to our golf team?
I don't know, but they did not
I mean,
play
they
well.
They play a lot better than that.
Yeah, that's golf. Some days you got it, some days you don't.
Yeah, but not the whole team.
Well, unfortunately, from all the reports I got talking to people, it was a bad day for everybody. So.
Oh, gee.
T41, that's very uncharacteristic of
It
the
is.
golf.
It's not something you expect.
Yeah, that's just not a good day on the golf course.
And where do they play?
The Grange.
The Grange. Does that golf course have a lot of hills?
They said it's a tough course.
Yeah.
The report I've got.
So sometimes the teams from the northern part of the state, if they have state tournaments up there, have an advantage because they're used to playing on hilly golf courses. We're down here in South Georgia, we're not. So they get they get that experience of playing on those hills. So that's the reason why you'll see South Georgia golf teams do better when state championships are held down here, like at Laura Walker and places like that. It's a whole different ball game when one leg's up and one leg's down, and you're having to lean over and twist yourself around to get a ball up a hill or down a hill, a side of a hill.
Might be a lot of water in the course too. I have no idea. Like I said, from the reports I got, people I talked to, they said it was just a rough day for our golfers yesterday. Everybody just had a bad day, so that happens in golf. I said some days everything goes your way, and some days you just can't. That's why they call it golf.
Yes, sir.
They see all other 4 words were taken, so that's what they came up with.
All 4-letter words came from golf.
All the other 4-letter words were taken, so golf came up. So.
Oh, geez. Well, someone just texted in, I agree with Bob about, voting for the sheriff. No matter if you are a Democrat, you would still, if you wanted to vote for sheriff or DA, you would pick up that Republican ballot and vote that way.
If you live in Wayne County, if you care who the sheriff is, you care who the DA is. I mean, your vote. You're not.
Well,
voting.
I agree with you, Bob. But sometimes party politics is the most important thing to certain voters out there.
I just don't.
They would rather be caught.
I just like a diehard Democrat to come in and explain to me why would you not vote in the sheriff's race if you live in Wayne County.
Because
why? What's the answer?
Granddaddy voted Democrat. Granddaddy voted Democrat. Daddy voted Democrat. And I'm gonna vote Democrat, and you'll never see me vote Republican. And the other way around from the other side.
I promise you, your great granddaddy, if he lived in Wayne County and went to live in the vote sheriff's race, he'd be voting for sheriffs. I promise you, he's probably a wise man. These people are not wise. I don't get it.
As many years as you've covered politics, you'd understand that. There are some people out there just party people to the core.
I understand.
I mean, to the core, it doesn't matter.
I just don't get it. But I see it. Maybe it's not
I
for
think
me.
some of them would probably actually break out in hives if
Maybe
they had
it's
to
not
ask
for me to
for a
understand.
Republican a
Yes.
ballot, or if it was the other way around. If a die-hard Republican went in there and had to ask for a Democratic ballot, they'd probably break out in hives. That's just how some people are just party-oriented.
I understand if there's a Democratic candidate for sheriff.
Yeah, well, but they would.
They pick, but I'm
that
just
would
saying.
be into November.
I'm just saying, if you're a Wayne County resident and
you
you
want to
vote
influence the sheriff's race,
or you want to decide you want to vote in that race, the only way you can do it is you pick up the Republican ballot because all three candidates are on that ballot. So
I agree. I agree, Bob.
it just-
I agree wholeheartedly. You don't have to
same thing with the DA's.
preaching to the choir here, but I just know some people out there that are they're that way. They just are that way. They'd rather just not vote at all than vote for a person of the opposite party.
It's their right. I get it.
It is.
I just don't understand it. But it's okay. A lot of things I don't understand. But we'll be at the probate office tonight, get the results, interview some people. And I said after that,
Noah Bush.
we'll be there.
And also
We'll be
election.
right. We'll be at the election, but the results probably won't be in. Like I said, polls closed. If you're in line at 7, you still get to vote. So sometimes the lines extend. So that's your right. As long as you're in line by 7, you get to vote.
And
so.
today it's not just the new building was built. It's
All
the
precincts,
all
right.
the precincts throughout the county. All your normal precincts are open today to go vote for the different offices. You know, here in Wayne County, we got the sheriff's race. Area wide, we got the district attorney's race. We've got school board race, and I'm not sure if any other ones.
We got one contested school board race. The contested county race won't be decided till November. Both the candidates on that District 5, Randy Franks and Princess Dow, will be
right.
They'll win
That'll
their
be November.
they'll win their party nomination tonight. So this
And we also got the coroner's race.
right.
So all those on the Republican ballot today.
All the Superior Court judges are unopposed. They're all on the ballot. A lot of other key offices are unopposed. The probate judge is unopposed. Clerk of court's unopposed. Tax commissioner's unopposed. So all those people.
There's still some changes in there, though, aren't there?
There's change. Yeah, there's new people.
There's changes, new
Right.
people, because the incumbents did not run, and then someone ran in their position, and they don't have opposition. So we do have some that'll be new faces come in January. It's just that they don't have any opposition to run against them. They just decided to run for their party election.
Right. Allie O'Quinn Hartage will be your new tax commissioner, and Hope Cunningham will be your new probate judge. So they're, like I
That's
said,
two long judge services
Denise
there.
Griffiths,
Yeah.
incoming tax commissioner, decided not to run, and Tammy Thornton, the incoming probate judge, decided not to run after both of those have been serving in those capacities for quite some time.
Yeah, we had Hal and Aziz in there for a long time. Now we're going to have a new tax commissioner.
Wish them the best of luck. They're probably both retiring, which
I
everybody
imagine
tells
they
me.
are. Yeah,
Everybody tells me it's the best job. That's what those guys at the coffee shop tell me. Say it's the best job they ever had. They enjoy it.
They enjoy it. I'm glad they do. I don't know what in the world I'd do. But it works. I have no plans to.
You could run for political office, Butch.
Yeah, right. No, sirree. No, sirree. Wouldn't want that for the world. Couldn't give it to me. Couldn't do it. So, Wayne County sports, they got one more day left.
Yeah, today's the last day.
After the golf
Yeah,
tournament.
Right. And banquets are being set. I said the courting ceremony's tonight at the
Courting
K. Kegel.
ceremony.
That's I believe it's 6:30, 7 o'clock, something like that. I'm not sure on the exact time. Graduation's this Friday at 7:30, JC Stadium. Honors night is Thursday night, where all that scholarship money's handed out.
Several $100,000 in
so
scholarships given out.
That's always a big night.
Big night.
See how high that total gets every year.
Ka-ching, ka-ching.
I said, just amazing how many organizations give scholarships out to high school seniors. And there's a lot of money to be handed out on Thursday night. So
Helps out.
it definitely does.
All right.
That Hope Scholarship helps out a lot too.
Oh, yeah, tell me about it. And I had 2 kids that went through college. I know the Hope Scholarship, big time help. Yeah. Big time help. All right, Bob, anything else in your mind this morning before you go chill out with your cup of coffee?
Just have a good day.
All right, just take some deep breaths and relax now.
Going to go vote. I'm going to pick up a Republican ballot so I can vote in the sheriff's race.
All right. World famous Butch and Bob show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup. Brought to you by O'Quinn and Associates, Murphy Builder Supply, Van's Barbecue, and First Southern Bank. Coming up soon.